important to stand for something. It is important to be consistent in what we say. And our personal issues should never take away patriotism from our own lives. As we sit here, we must consider what was spoken about yesterday by Mgg as a statement from someone looking into a mirror. She was our mirror. She is speaking on her own opinion, about her own opinion, and she has a right to that. And therefore, anyone to disparage such kind of statements just because they indicate that there was the fairest election in this country, I think is not right. And for me, I would want to say that listening to the former Prime Minister, I think I must mention that he keeps on changing goalposts. Because today, when he is in this side of government, things are good. When they are not, then he changes like a chameleon. I think I would want to tell him to take a stand, be firm. If it was said that the elections were not fair, he would have said, oh, that's a beautiful speech. But now that it was said that it is the elections were free, fair, and we also believe as Kenyans that these were the fairest since independence. And so we would want to tell him maybe that it is important to take a stand and be firm, be consistent, so that we are able to see. Lastly, may I say this, that I do not like the statement kwamba nyani haoni kundule. I would want simply to say this, that it matters which perspective you are looking at. Because if you are looking at the side, where utaona nyani ana kundule, I think we need to change that.
So good afternoon. To add to what my colleagues have said, I'm going to talk about what he has said during the devolution conference in regards especially to the US ambassador to Kenya. I'm sure most of you were with us yesterday afternoon when the US ambassador made a presentation to DEFCON. And I'm sure most of you sat there and were blown away by the kind of facts that she had about our country, Kenya, and the potential, and even shared a literature on why Kenya is the next Singapore and all that. I wish and I hope that Mr. Odinga had been able to sit through that presentation. I'm sure he would not have used the words he used this afternoon. It's actually quite unfortunate to hear a man at such level talk about an ambassador and tell an ambassador to shut up. Perhaps it's time for me to tell Mr. Odinga to shut up. Because if he had really heard what she presented, he would have seen that she is the best actually ambassador, not for the US to Kenya, but like a Kenyan ambassador. She represents and talks about Kenya in a more positive and patriotic way than most Kenyans that I know. So it is quite surprising, it is quite unfortunate, and for a leader that we respect, we also expect you to respect others. As far as the national government and county governments, it is a time in history, 10 years later, when we have such good collaboration between the national and county governments. So when a leader is trying to incite against the national government helping in distribution of fertilizer and bringing it down to 2,500, then you wonder, does this leader really mean well for Kenya? So from the speech, from everything we have seen today, it does not seem as though he means well for Kenya. And going forward, I would hope that he takes a break and looks at himself and listens to himself a bit and puts Kenya above himself, because Kenya is bigger than Mr. Raila Odinga.